it's smooth sailing in Arizona.
There's still a lot of stuff that has to get made last minute.
The final frenzy in Nebraska.
It's a madhouse.
Decision time in Utah.
We're 50-50 right now.
And in South Dakota, a moment of truth.
Family's more important.
How many cars will make it to the Barrett-Jackson Cup?
Getting it done in time will be the biggest challenge.
This is The Path to Performance, presented by Castrol EDGE.
My name's Andy Leach, owner of Cal Automotive Creations in Bennington, Nebraska. And Wednesday night, we're debuting the 56 Thunderbird at the Monterey Car Week. We'll get feedback and see how it all goes. You know, I think it's just seeing the reactions of people and see how they react to the nickel-plated roof. And that might give us some ideas of, oh, well, the brushed nickel. Maybe we should do this little brushed nickel piece to tie the car together. So that gives us time to fine-tune and tweak the car. She's gonna be dialed in for Wednesday night, but she'll be even better for the Barrett-Jackson Cup. So here we are, we're leaving tomorrow morning for Monterey with the car. And it's a madhouse. We're assembling, but it's just a lot of little pieces and a lot of little things. And we'll take it right up to the last second and clean her up and put her in the trailer and away we go.
Actually supposed to be here. Coming to help.
So the doors on the 56 Thunderbird, they're actually pretty big, and the way the hinges swing, being off just a little bit changes all the gaps.
You're hitting here.
Mm-hmm. See that?
The door is kicked out at the bottom.
That's the hinge bolts that way, and we're going to try and go in and out that way.
So we're constantly putting it together, shutting the doors,
So I have to go up north.
making adjustments, pull it apart, sand, and do everything we gotta do to make the gaps perfect. Because you gotta have a tight gap, because when the door's shut, you know, a big gap looks like crap.
Will it latch at all or no?
I don't think so. Is it hitting on top?
Yeah. I think after we put the hard top on, it pulled this latch or something because now it's smacking the door.
When the top got put on, it smashed it down so it made it thicker. So now the door will rub on it a little bit. So we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna fix that.
So there's too much shit right here.
Yep.
Okay. There's a little window there, and we could take this fucker underneath this and cut it right back there and tap that in, and that cut line will be underneath that. All right, I'm gonna build another tent. Where is that dragging on that latch? Man, that's close. Yeah, there's nothing hitting, so it's got to be dragging on the striker. You machine these parts and then you send them off for plating, so everything grows in size, everything.
This got plated on the bottom here, and then also the piece on the door got plated, so it's a lot bigger. I'm gonna buff this down so the door won't catch on it.
So now we're in the challenging part of trying to fit it all back together, but it's just the process of building a car where you got to work through the problem.
When it comes back here, it makes it even with the metal almost, which we want it to rub on this and not the metal. That's actually the wear piece, so now it disappears almost.
Again, just something that most people don't see and know about, but until you get into it, it's just a lot of time and effort to get everything perfect and working correctly.
Yeah, dude, that's perfect.
All right, we're good to go.
Made the guys some tacos and all the fixins.
My wife, Annalie, really takes care of all of us. You know, we get into these crunches and we're just a bunch of dumb guys. We forget to eat. So she brings in these home-cooked meals for us all, and it's amazing.
They're running on fumes. They will just survive on food at the local gas station.
I homemade this, farm fresh tomatoes, some hamburger mixed with some turkey meat, kind of keeping it leaner.
Ricky, get some food.
I force them to eat because they're too busy to stop to eat.
It's little things like that. She's got her heart into it, and I love her, and she's a big part of all this.
This part right here has to cam over this part right here.
It's taken most of the day, but we've got the doors all set now. It's just one of them things, you go back and forth, assembly, take it apart, put it together, take it apart, and you just fine tune it until you got it. But we got her, we're going. So we were expecting to leave this evening, but we've been going pretty hard, basically last week on this car to get it wrapped up. And I think I got 4 hours of sleep last night. So Rick and I will get a good night's rest tonight, and then we'll bug out probably about 10 a.m. tomorrow morning and probably go straight through all the way to Monterey. So a good night's rest is the safe thing to do.
That way a little bit.
It's getting harder the older we get.
I'm Tyler Nelson, the owner of Revision Rods and Rides out of Rapid City, South Dakota.
So this is a 69 Road Runner. Last time you guys were here filming, it was obviously in bare metal. It was running and driving, so there's been a lot of changes. The full interior, all the wiring, everything's been ripped out of it. And this car's been off the chassis, so we could finish welding and grinding and doing all the stuff on the bottom side of this car. Then we put Glazerite epoxy primer from BASF on it, and then we started bodywork, which people don't realize how long it takes to do the bodywork on builds that are this extensive. You know, not having the Road Runner at the Barrett-Jackson Cup is definitely a bummer, but you know, other things come up in life and it's just not going to be possible for this year.
Sutton has been growing like a weed. 8.5 months old, 8 teeth, crawling all over, standing up.
Is she good today?
Taking a few steps here and there, said mama and daddy. So we've got those 2 words that we're working on, and her personality is really starting to show through, so it's fun. You don't know how much you're gonna love a child until you hold them, so it just continues to grow.
Katie and I, we noticed like a skin growth when she was 1 week old. The pediatrician we were seeing just kept saying it's nothing, it's nothing, it's nothing. And then when she was 4 months old, by that time it grew extremely large.
I pushed for a specialist, and the look on everybody's face told it all, and that's where the concern set in.
It put a lot of stress on Katie and I, just because being the first kid, it was like, I have not a clue. Then all of a sudden when they're wanting us to go elsewhere and get other scans and other stuff done, it was like, what is wrong?
They started talking about the Children's Hospital down in Denver, and I was all for it, because it's hard to see your child hurting, so.
So it just kind of changed the whole outlook on everything, and you know, cars can always get done and family's more important.
When all this stuff came up with Sutton medically, I think I questioned, like, are we really doing that? I mean, we've never not made a deadline, you know.
By having to be going to doctor's appointments in town, or going to Colorado, or even just not wanting to work every weekend to just spend time with the new baby Sutton and my wife Katie, we decided, you know, let's not even attempt it.
I know our priority is family, but I guess having that being tested right away, it just shows that, you know, family is everything. She is everything to us. At the end of the day, Tyler doesn't want to be working on a car when we're off trying to figure out how to make her feel better. So Tyler is a wonderful father and continues to show that in decisions that he makes daily.
You know, Sutton, once she's 2-3 years old, they'll do a few surgeries and then she's going to be fine at the end of the day.
So we're very grateful. And when the Road Runner is finished, it's going to tour just like any of the other cars. And because it's one of the biggest shows out there, I sure hope that it makes its way to Barrett-Jackson Cup.
My name's Tony Army, owner of American Legends, Phoenix, Arizona, and we're bringing a 1966 Chevelle to the Barrett-Jackson Cup. Gerald Murphy, he's one of our fabricators here. He's very helpful on the cars, especially when we're on a deadline. Because even at this point when you're doing assembly, there's still a lot of stuff that has to get made last minute, if you will.
I'm making a little fuel filler tube to house this, attach this panel, so that our gas cap can hopefully end up somewhere here. Just get rid of that whole goofy door on the side.
That really helps me out, so I can focus on more the plumbing and the wiring and the getting it running, driving side of it.
They like coil them up in these nice little bunches, and if you like unwrap it all the wrong way.
I'm starting to install the body harness for the car, getting it all wired up so we can start testing everything. We gotta install the engine harness next, so I'm just trying to plan ahead for that so we can start basically making sure everything works electrically. So Gerald is fabricating the door panel tops to try to help our upholstery guy meet a deadline.
Like where your thumb is has to be like super tight against it though.
Yeah, it's gonna have to like come in. So we got door panels made for a Chevy Nova that we're now modifying to fit the door panel correctly and making the door panels one piece so that they could be upholstered and wrapped.
My name is Patrick Goodwin with Stitched Envy Interiors. There's a global shortage right now on the carpet. Been on order for months, and I just had to call the vendor a few hours ago and say, hey, we're doing something else. I'm improvising to make sure that he gets this car done.
I mean, honestly, the reality will be getting it done in time will be the biggest challenge.
I'm Isaac Gonzalez.
I'm Donnie Hall.
And we are the owners of Streamline Custom Designs in Tooele, Utah.
We are bringing a 1966 Corvette C2 custom convertible roadster to the Barrett-Jackson Cup.
And with the truck, we're waiting on the company that we bought all the reducers, which we had some issues with. We filed a claim with them.
I had to do a write-up. I have to find the accountable person who has the signature authority to approve funds in that amount. So, it's just time. So while I'm chasing the claim on the pickup, our focus has been the 66 Corvette. The owner of the 66 loves for his cars to be out on the circuit, so we threw all the resources at it to get down to this event in Texas.
So we're getting this thing sent over to our buddies over here at JDP so they can do some fine tuning on the dyno. Wegner, they'll dyno it, send it to us with a basic tune. Now we've got to set up shift points for the transmission, fine tune it, and actually make it drivable and functional. So this 66 Corvette has a high horsepowered Wegner custom built engine, and that's why we use the Castrol EDGE to get the maximum performance out of this high horsepowered engine. So we put the car on the dyno, hood off, the grill for more airflow, and we're having some issues with the computer, the Terminix system. It wasn't reading the transmission at all. We'd set them, and as soon as you key off, it would lose everything. Get it figured out.
Like, why couldn't we figure this out yesterday? I mean, even 4 hours ago would have been great.
Luckily, we had another Terminix system here. We plugged that one in and it's working. So got it on the dyno, pushing it on the rollers, and we started puking transmission fluid. So we decided to get it back over here, get that fixed. We stayed late.
Some of the guys last night were here till midnight, some were 3 in the morning. Donnie was here until 4 a.m. So, Simon, Dave, Dalton, Colin, they'll work around the clock. We couldn't do it without them.
I got home at 4:15. It's now 7:15, I think. I slept for a couple hours, enough to go home, shower. Plans to get it dynoed, bring it back, get the hood on. We gotta get the windshield trim finished up, windshield wipers, all the center caps. We gotta get the exhaust covers on there. There's some nice stainless pieces that go down there. Got to do a full polish on it and then get it loaded, and me and Isaac are going to take off to Texas. So
technically we don't have to be to Texas till about 5 in the morning on Friday, so we could leave tomorrow night.
We're essentially looking at a 24-hour drive time to get down to Texas. The event's not moving, so we need to get moving.
with the truck, if they're not going to step up and help us out, then we're going to have to eat that $65,000.
I'm willing to eat the $65K to make sure that we get down there with the two vehicles.
There's no way that we can eat that cost and hurry up. So we're 50-50 right now.
The odds for me is 95% because of what Barrett-Jackson is and what they have the ability to do for Streamline.
Right now it's kind of just at a stopping point.
I have 24 hours on the road to Texas to convince Donnie that that 53 Chevy gets completed and arrives at Scottsdale in January.
Can't make it a priority if the shop's not making any money.
24 hours on the road to Texas, baby.